Woohoo! Let's see, we should be live. Yep, we are live.
Are you sure? Are we feeling live? Do we get all the bits and bobs correct? Everything we need to be live? We check our live checklist. Pulse, check.
I hate when I have to re-sign up, re-log into Twitch with my 2-factor off. I hate that when you have to do it every month.
But you know that's going to save you one day because you're going to get that notification somebody trying to hack your account. You're like,
I know.
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
That's true.
I get nervous about stuff like that. I genuinely do. What was I forgot what it was. I got a weird enough email on like one of my email accounts. Mm-hmm. I was like, what's going on here? Like, it was like, I don't know if it was in Cyrillic or something like that, but I was like, you know what? We're just going to change the password on that account now. Yeah, like, just in case. I just got those feels. Hello, Steve. How is your Wednesday going?
Aw, hi, Boo.
So if you're just popping in for the first time, this is the pre-show. So we're doing a little warm-up because we're going to be doing a weekly Daily Wednesdays, episode 326, not to be confused with episode 325 or 327 for our fellow time-traveling beings. But what do we got today? Fedora 36 is out. It's kind of hot. We're going to put Thunderburbs. They're going mobile. NVIDIA's LHR stuff has been hacksored, and old WinPress is doing some crazy stuff with Debs. And we got a KDE application from the KDE team officially on the Apple Store, which is just strange, man. That's weird.
So cool.
Huh.
That's nice.
Hello, Candolph.
Oh, hello, Arthur.
Remember, always be a Candolph, not a Cantolph.
Yeah. A Candolph, not a Gandalf.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off 80 tongues at all, man. Not even a little bit. Let me see. Let me put the live in Discord. We should have audio coming. You'll never guess what. I'm testing audio things.
Yay.
I know. I understand.
Yes.
It might come as a shock.
Steve made me for my birthday.
Oh, man. I never got into Battlestar Galactica.
NCC 1701. He's still working on it, but it's from a kit, but he's scratch built a lot on it to make it far superior. Starship Destroyer from Stargate.
Yeah, it looks just like that one from Harry Potter. So have either of you nerds watched Strange New Worlds?
Oh, I love it. Yes, I'm looking forward to the new episode tomorrow.
What? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, Thursdays.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, Paramount Plus, your Android app, sucks.
Oh, it does. Yes, I agree.
Like, you defeated me on the app trying to sign up and give me money. I had to go to the desktop. I was trying, man. I was trying hard. Mm-hmm. I like the first episode. I like where it went. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything, but that was an interesting use of warp drive that they brought up. I'm like,
that's true.
Okay. I like the cast. I had to Google. I had to Google long and hard because the guy who showed up at the end, not spoiling anything, who walked up on the bridge. I'm like, apparently we're supposed to know who this person is. Mm-hmm. Because he's made a total of 2 screen appearances in the entirety of Trek history.
Yeah.
With a total amount of screen time of like 30 seconds. I'm like, clearly you're supposed to understand who this person is. And, yeah.
Hi, Alex.
You're moving stuff to a man moving. Well, speaking of things that suck.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Oh, poor Alex. Yeah, that's always rough. Packing. Do you know, I've only done it twice in my life, and it was a good thing because I have so much stuff.
That's, I mean, I have more stuff than I want. Most of the stuff I own, like, that is not just basic necessity things, are probably in this room, man, because I was thinking about that earlier this week, like, the knick-knack stuff Jordan has in his background shot in his room is more stuff that I have knick-knack-wise probably ever in the entirety of my life.
Yeah.
Very Spartan with the decorations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Getting away from John. Yeah, I saw John was posting.
Yeah, so I know John is moving too. So Alex, are you moving to a bigger place? Or closer to work? Or I know it was something he was really happy about. Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll just go back to moving sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to take a lot of stuff with you. I just have a giveaway. Like, here, come get it. Everything for $1 and I'd put it on the front lawn and not look, so everyone can just steal everything. Yeah. I mean, if you're moving to a better place, like some place that you're excited about, I'm sure that takes some of the sting out of it.
Yeah.
But, man. Like, if you're trying to take furniture and all this stuff, I think about that. About buying a just dedicated studio space for all the crap in here, and I'm like, I don't want to move everything in here, man.
You know what my brother does, because he moves, every few years from one apartment to the next. He just buys new furniture in the next apartment. He doesn't deal with it.
This is what you should do, especially. Like, I'm a grown human being, and like, if I buy furniture, if I buy new furniture, let me be crystal clear about that. I'll just get like whatever IKEA type stuff, right? I'm like, all right, I need a shelf or something like that. Done. That stuff is not designed to be moved.
Yeah.
It's not. Even if you take it apart and put it back together, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a bit janky. Aww. You generate.
Steve's office in his model building studio in the garage. Mm-hmm.
I saw that we got a new Doctor Who. They announced the dude. Like,
yeah.
wow. So now I got to like go back. He's like, well, he's famous for this and this and this. And man, I don't think in New Who there's ever been a doctor I'm like, from previous work, which is always interesting because you don't, like, I have no idea what we're getting. Kind of excited, especially that Moffat's back writing.
Oh, I know. We're all happy about that.
And I will not say anything negative. Like, if our new doctor, he shows up and he wakes up and he's like, the last 2 series were a dream. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. That sucks for Jodie because she seemed really cool, but man, those were just, I haven't even watched the most recent series. Like,
Neither have I.
After they did the Timeless Child thing and like, why would you do that? I understand canonical Doctor Who was not necessarily, like, I get it, but there's certain things, man. Hello, Justin. All right, Jill, do you want to go grab something to drink? Or?
Yeah. Right back.
Then we can hop into it. I'm going to get something to drink myself, but I'm going to wait until Jill comes back, because as exciting as this music is, it might not be everything you'd led to believe. I did find some new music. I didn't get the latest Humble Bundle. Here's the problem. There's a new Humble Bundle for game devs. It was marketed as, game music, which is good. That's what I look for, because it doesn't have vocal tracks, so we can play it in the background and then, royalty free, get the license for it. Problem is, I already had a large chunk of it, and the new stuff that was in that bundle, there was only one album I wanted. And it was like, sort of want, but I could only get that one album for like $24, and I had to get a bunch of stuff I already had. I'm like, I'm just going to let that one go. I might just get it on Bandcamp. I might do that. I don't get too hung up on Doctor Who because it's, allegedly still a children's show. So, it's whatever. Here's the thing. one of the things you don't really want to get too wound up about, because if a lot of people enjoyed that direction and they were down with it and it got like super popular, I'd be like, cool. I'm not going to waste time and energy and headspace like hating on something. Like, whatever, that's cool. But it didn't. And then I'm like, all right, you know what, Moffat? I didn't mind Moffat writing it. Some continuity and some overarching plots. I'm like, optimistic. Here's the thing. It could be absolute rubbish. Who knows? Perpetual optimism as a pessimist is a very important thing. Very important. Let me get back into the notes. So one of the things we're trying, I'm going to talk about this at the beginning of the show, is I found a way to wire in my Aphex compeller into the live stream. It is back here doing Aphexy compeller things in the rack, going out to you. And that took some doing. It's kind of an interesting way I had to pull it off. I'm going to spare you all of the background of that, but I might even do a video on it. I've already done a video on the compeller. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a piece of 80s technology that has yet to be replicated in 2022. They still make them. And you typically see them in radio stations, live broadcast events like that, because they're hyper-transparent leveler, compressor, limiter. And they're analog. It's an analog computer. That's why I'm fascinated about it. Like, that thing is filled with Scandinavian witchcraft, but it's not Scandinavian. It was made in Hollywood, California. At least that's what it says in the back. Made in Hollywood, California. I take its word. I don't think it's lying to me. But I'm very fascinated with them. And thanks to Jim at Guitar Sitter, I was able to get this one for peanuts. I had to buy it. And I've been looking for, it's one of those things, it's a solution in search of a problem. Don't you like those? Kind of like snaps, you know? A solution in search of a problem. I don't know if that's entirely accurate. But I did see, I'm trying to get to it. Was it Coinbase? Yeah, Coinbase. Coinbase is in trouble, which caused me to look up. It's a cryptocurrency exchange. I'm not up to speed on that. I'm guessing that is something like, I mean, outside of being an exchange, I understand that, but is it like an online wallet, maybe? I don't know how that works. Not 100%. I mean, such is the nature of crypto, though. But I don't understand. That's what I'm trying to ask. Why would you keep your wallet online? That's what I don't get. Doesn't make sense. Is that maybe it's easier to trade if you're into trading? I don't make a very good crypto bro. Well, like NFTs, 100%. Like I have Bitcoin, but I have Bitcoin locally. My wallet's local. I don't have my wallet online. And if you look like over the past 2 years, what's fluctuated more in value, the USD or Bitcoin? Breaking the launch. Oh yeah, it's one of those little System 76 keyboards. Did they sell like a number pad for that? Like in a wood grain? That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, you know what? I can't even fault the people who like walked in and took advantage of everyone buying NFTs. I'm like, man, if you were dumb enough to spend that money on that, somebody else was going to get your money. Let's be honest. If it wasn't the NFT people. Well, I'm just saying, it's System 76. They got wood grain PCs. They look like Ataris. And I thought like the stick-on wood grain stuff looked horrible in the 70s and 80s, and I still think it looks bad today. Jill would disagree.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like wood grain? Like,
no, not fake stuff.
Well, what do you got against System 76?
Oh, yeah, no. But that's real wood.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the, cheesy fake stuff that they like.
You
mean
that laminate sticker they put on the side?
Laminate, yeah. I don't like that. I like real wood.
Now we're going to find out. You know what? Because I don't know. All I will say is what system it looks like a vinyl wrap thing. System 76 real wood. Is it?
That's curious. I thought it was a very thin sheet of real wood. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen them in real life, and it looked. If it isn't, it's really good.
You know what? Technically, it is. Mm-hmm. It's a super thin sheet that they put some glue on, and so yes, yeah. It is real wood.
Yeah.
Technically.
Technically.
Right. It's wood that you could scratch off, but
it's not laminate.
It's laminate. It's wood laminate.
Yeah, it's real wood laminate.
It's real fake doors.
Veneer.
Right. Did you see that case that I posted in Discord? Might have been yesterday, day before. They're making like wood cases that.
Oh yeah.
I think they're made out of balsa wood. Well, at least the stand looked like it was. I wasn't too sure about that. I don't know, like balsa wood. That's fragile stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some real wood cases. Like
the one we were talking about, Arthur, and it was a bit pricey. Well, not for it was like, what, 230 euro? And for that's kind of the going price for a little thermal note box these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why they wanted to use balsa, though, because it's a lightweight wood, so the case is not so heavy.
Yeah, but I don't think I could get a good termite colony going in balsa wood.
No.
Would a carpenter be?
Mm-hmm.
I never had it. No. The closest I got to acrylic was dremeling out a window. I needed something clear so we could look in the PC. We didn't have lights or anything. It was just novel.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have an acrylic case. A see-through one. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the problem with the acrylic now. Like all of the, what version of the Mac was it? You know the one I'm talking about. The clear one. The Cube.
Yep, I have that one. Mm-hmm.
The problem with all of those, given enough time,
they can crack.
Yeah, they're going to crack. It's just the nature of acrylic. Given enough time, they will all crack. Acrylic's
I
going to
have one
dry
of the
out.
rare ones that doesn't have a crack in it.
Yet. But I'm sure you bought it because you wanted it, not because you planned on selling it, right?
No, yeah, it's just for my collection.
Right. So my advice is if you're trying to flip them and you have one without a crack in it, sell it now.
The cubes sell for a buck. We're not only having it's hard to find one with cracks in it, it's hard to find one that even boots up because they were notoriously for overheating because people were dumb and they would put things on top of it.
They didn't have fans in them and they were poorly engineered. Yeah, there was lots of reasons they overheated.
Yeah.
Aw. It was a gift from your bro?
Yeah. So he used it in production in his animation studio. And it worked pretty well. It just, it wasn't high powered or anything, but it was good for quick renders. But he took great care of it, so he gave it to me for my collection. And I'm very grateful because that little thing is worth several $1,000s working.
How much do they go for these days?
Last time I looked, it was about $2,000 for a working one, for a good-looking working one. I haven't checked recently, though.
Yeah, let's see.
Actually, that would be
there's some big differences between somebody looking to sell one and somebody trying to turn a profit every one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's got one working, speakers, power brick, keyboard tested, ready to go, $500. Then we got the person that's like, do you know how much I paid for this?
Yeah.
$1,100.
Okay. That means there's more. It varies depending on how many people are selling them on eBay and how many are available, of course.
Yeah, and you gotta find one in like good condition too. So.
Yeah. Sometimes they're not available at all, and then the next one that pops up, it sells for a ridiculous price.
Looks all right. Let's see. What do we have on the back? Oh, we had Firewire on these. Nice.
Yeah.
We still had the stupid Macintosh proprietary thing that didn't for the. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I actually upgraded my video card in mine.
Oh, nice. What else?
And put more RAM in it.
Ethernet, 2 USBs. Oh, it's got a built-in modem. Swanky.
Yeah. It was during that transition.
Let's see. Maybe some scuffs, but nothing. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sitting across the river from you. See, to me, I imagine that you're looking out there and there's the river and there's just a cube across the river chilling out, being a cube. Like, that's what it does. People around the town, we leave it alone. We let it do its own thing. Yeah, I've never had a monolith. What are you talking about, Steve? Yeah, that was the futuristic thing. Like all the cables on that were sparkle cables.
Mm-hmm.
There's a better name for them, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the transparent outer. Yeah.
I have all the original cables as well. I have some rainbow cables too from my other iMacs.
What do you mean, like the yellow, blue, brown?
Yeah, they're actually the cables for the original iMacs are literally they're greens and reds and browns wrapped in a clear sheath. Mm-hmm. They're really nice, actually, cables. I have a couple of those. In fact, I'm looking at one right now.
Where's that?
It's just below my desk because I have a couple of my vintage Macs on a shelf under my desk.
Just reach down there and rip it up.
Yeah.
One thing I do get a lot of that I don't know what to do with is like white box cases. Like, I have no idea how I've accumulated. I probably have like 5 or 6. Just generic, the cases I'm talking about. Of like the 90s computer case. If you went and bought a computer case, it was one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how I ended up with so many. But I don't know what to do with them. Like, do you recycle them? Or do I just go take them to the landfill?
Oh.
Because nobody wants them. Like, they're they're steel.
Well, if the nice steel ones, they do recycle those. Mm-hmm. I still, have mine, of course, but mine have computers in them.
Mine have nothing in them, and I'm not going to put anything in them, Jill. I just got to get rid of them. I'll have to. I mean, they're in a closet, like, stacked up. It's one of those weird things you run into my house. Like, why? Like, where else would I put it? I don't know. Maybe I can sell them to some YouTubers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you would do with new ones other than build an old system in it.
Yeah.
Or retrofit it with an, ATX power supply and.
Man, are you kidding? I am too old to be modifying cases. I respect that. If you still got that kind of energy, that's good energy to bring to a project. I don't have that anymore. Yeah. Nuh-uh. I
haven't done it in a while, but I've been wanting to for a case I have that I love.
Last two systems I built, Jackbox and Threadbooper, were both with the biggest, honkiest case I could find. 700D and the the Cube Corsair case. Mm-hmm. You can just crawl inside of it, sit down and work.
Yeah.
It's not like trying to, and everything's modular, which means everything gets ripped out. Don't need all that. All the room. You know what?
I have one of those old, it's for a modern ATX form factor, but I have a full-size Corsair case. It's a beast. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the Cube, but it's the full-size tall one.
Yeah, that's what Threadbooper's in, because it's an eATX motherboard.
Yeah, extended ATX.
Which, it's a big giant. Me and Jordan have the same case. We never talk about buying the same case. We never brought it up. This one day we're like, oh, you got that one too? Huh. Because I remember I was talking about it and we kind of ran across that. Then Jordan didn't realize that it has built-in SSD mounts. Mm-hmm. Where you just clip them in on the side. You're like, oh.
Yeah, he just probably taped it.
He wasn't paying attention to it. He was talking about mounting his SSDs. I'm like, why didn't you just put them on the clips? Because it's got like a spot for 4, like in front of the motherboard.
Yeah.
You just slide them in. I think everything comes with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which you would miss if you didn't take out. Okay, I understand how you could miss it if you didn't take, because it's got like a big bottom cage to hold a ton of hard drives. Yeah, spinny drives. Again, pulled that out, not using it. And that's where they're hanging out. The other one's weird. The Cube case, the reason I got it, thank you, Linux Nero, he got it from a Wishstone way back when, is it's one of those where it has all the power supply and drives in its own compartment.
Yeah, I know. I like that. That's this pink one. My broadcasting rig has that, and I love that. It's really nice.
I think, I don't have anything. It's, to me, my brain's like, that's odd. I didn't realize that. But I mean, it looks clean, I guess, if that's what you're going for. Like, if you're just, like, looking into the window, you're like, oh, look. Yeah, it's just the motherboard sitting there hanging out by itself. Which, fortunately, there's not a window on the other side, the power, because that's a rat nest. And I'm like, nobody's seeing that, which means squish, 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 hold, slide case on, put screws on. There we go.
Yeah.
I will deal with that next time I have to open it. I had to open it the other day. That's why it's fresh in my memory. I'm like, oh.
Okay.
Geez, look at this mess. That's going to get shoved right back in here like it was. And I'm going to close it.
Well, what I like about those is that it keeps it actually keeps the motherboard and processor and GPU a little cooler because the power supply is on the other side. And then you can put more fans where there would be a power supply next to the motherboard. So I do like that aspect. But this was my first system I ever had that had the two. And this one is... The two chambers are the exact same width too. It's just like the case was, in half.
Yeah, this one's not. I think it's got more on the motherboard side.
Yeah, most of them do. Yeah. I remember this case when I got it. It was very unique. I'm like, I've never had a case like this.
Both of these were designed for, because the Cube case, I call it the Swiss cheese case because it's just Swiss cheese. It's almost like a mesh case.
Yeah.
That lets me run the fans as low as possible, and all the heat can just radiate out of the top. Same thing with this 700 series. It's just got an open top with mesh on it, so all that heat can just leak out. And I don't, because I think people would get upset, Jill, if I had like a buzzsaw fan going.
Yeah, of course. You have to have something quiet in your studio. That's one of the hardest things. Yeah.
Gotta have that balance.
Yeah, that's another reason I really like this case, is it's quiet. Really quiet.
Yeah, that room's pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely under minus negative 54 dB. Because like you don't even show up on the meter unless you're talking like your input, which is nice. All right, I got to do the liquid cooling, and
Okay.
I'll do a little bite break. Then we're gonna do a show.
Cool.
I don't think anything's going to explode. We've been playing around a little longer.
Yeah,
than
we've been playing
do.
a little longer. Yeah, because
we're
breaking things in.
I want to see because we're using ancient technology this week, and if it's going to die,
from the 80s, boo. We got some tech from the 80s that Ven is playing with.
You know,
that's
Steve,
still in use today in radio
the 80s
stations.
To Steve's like, what are you talking about? That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. Yes.
It wasn't 40 years ago.
Yay, boo! Justin, Cursor Air 240. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I do like the dual chambered cases. They are very convenient. It's weird when you first start playing with them. It's just like, wait a minute, this doesn't belong here. Oh no, power supply. Oh, it goes on the other side. Yes, you do, boo. From the 60s. Oh, hey, Gamatron. Yeah, that's a good way to use old cases. Use the metals for other projects. I know Steve Husband has done that before. Oh, that's cool. A metal flower. Oh, that's a nice way to recycle. Aw. Arthur, and how's your night going? Did you have a good day at work and just relaxing now? Yeah, my boo needs to make a HAL 9000 case. But that means you got to run the computer that is in it every once in a while. I know you can make that case for your 3D printer. Roadblock, cool. Goodish, but mostly bored, Artherin, or canned off the Crete. Yeah, I like the fish tank cases. Those are cool. Yeah, or you can make fish tanks out of the case, or you can make it at the computer. Yeah, there's tons of stuff you can do with those old cases. I actually do have an empty one or two empty in the garage in my collection of over 600 computers. So I do have an extra case if I want to put a 486. I still have 486 motherboards and 386 motherboards and old Pentium motherboards. I could build a new retro system if I wanted to. Oh yeah, Justin. I bet you could fit a Raspberry Pi in there. Those are nice. Those are very nice. The launch keyboards are so beautifully built. They're really heavy duty too.
Man, you're not kidding. Like they even come with a backup spacebar.
Yeah.
So when your first spacebar quits working, you can use the other one. And
rolling toolboxes. See, that's especially if you're in a very volatile environment where you need your computer to survive, like a bombshell or something. Have one of those old craftsman tool chests.
For what I paid for my Snap-on, no. I mean, I appreciate the idea of modding it. I don't know. People really like, that used to be a thing. Let's talk about a long time ago, real quick. I mean, like case modding, creative case modding. Now it's like, hey, I shoved a micro ITX board into thing XYZ, right? And it was a little more creative back in the day because we didn't have mini anything. And I'm not saying things were better back in the day. It was not better back in that day.
You had to use drill press and.
Well, I mean, yeah, you had to get creative. You had to get creative. Not these kids; they can just 3D print parts, which is amazing. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I used to make my own heat sinks for my old Pentium Pros because back in those days, it was finding third-party coolers for big processors like that was a little difficult. Those kind of things didn't exist.
I never did it for air, but I absolutely milled several poor, semi-working water blocks.
Yeah.
For the water cooling systems, because we would experiment with channel designs, which were usually just spirals back in the day, and just completely mess up drill presses doing it.
Yeah.
But, hey, we'd chew through that copper. All right. Well, I will tell you, I'm assuming the metal thickness is roughly the same on the Sunbox that I modded, and I went through probably 8 or 9 bits, grinder bits.
Oh yeah,
just
easily.
got into that thing because it was just showing through them, like the little regular ones I stuck to it, and like zzz, disappeared, barely scratched it. I'm like, yeah. But hey, let's go ahead and hop in and do a show.
Okay.
Numbers right. I'm there. Jill's there. And there's that. All right, we get everything. I just gotta scroll down here and find the music that would play at the end. I found it. Well done. Cool. Of that timer, it's kind of mostly there for moral support, and it's to remind us that we are horrible with time. It's kind of a suggestion clock. It lets us know how far over we went.
Yeah.
It's better than
it helps.
Previous one. The previous one never counted down all the way. It only went about halfway, and it restarted. I'd always put that up to see how long it took somebody. I'm like, wait a minute. This one will count down to 0. But, yeah, don't pay it any attention. You come up with a good name for it. No one's named that clock yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not the taco clock.
It's not the taco clock. It's not the poop clock.
It's the digital falling clock.
Yeah, the pizza clock. So, yeah, let those creative juices flow and see what you come up with.
Rain clock. Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, Gamatron.
Rain clock. What about pain clock? We got to make it edgy and upbeat for the kids.
Yeah. Clocky McClock face. There's Ben's joke from ages ago.
Dude, it's not even a joke. This is the reality. If you have an online poll for anything, I don't care what, if you're public sector, government, whatever, and you put it up for a poll and there's an other in that category, and it doesn't legitimately end up being named whatever McWhatever face, you're lying. Period. It will always be that. And I'm like, oh no, people didn't pick, Bussy McBussface. I'm like, yes, they did. We all know they did.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. All right. Oh, hang on. Give me a clap, Jill. I need to fine tune this thing. All right. It's within a couple of milliseconds of variance right now, but it's not perfect, and that's going to bug me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 326. Let's do it in 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, in open source, in basically whatever we find interesting. Warning, we try to have a good time. There may be laughter if that's not your thing. There's plenty of other shows to go watch. I'm Vin. That laughter was one Jill Bryant. Hello, Jill Bryant.
Hello, Vin. How are you doing?
And everyone watching this live on Twitch. We do this on Twitch. Oh man, I finally got our video up on Spotify.
Woohoo! Cool. I need to go and watch it still.
You got to do it. I had to fight.
Yeah.
It's a beta. So like the first time, it's Spotify's second breakfast. That first upload never goes right. Upload the exact same thing again. It's like okay.
Nice.
But it is, that's a couple of things I want to mention though, because I want somebody to test it. I put out this, if you do use Spotify on the app, or I think even on the webpage, we have video now and we're participating in that. There's an option to leave a voice message. I want somebody to test it just because I want to see what it looks like and see what it sounds like and see if we can tie it into the show and kind of make it a thing. Mostly morbid curiosity. So for this week and next week, pretty much anything you send that's going to fit within this show's particular PG-13 rating category, we'll play it. I'll give you my word on that. But a couple other things. We had a long pre-show, Joe.
Yeah, we did, because we were testing something.
I was waiting on something to fail. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever heard of a band called or a group, I should say, called the Aphex Twins?
Oh, yeah. Aphex Twin is one of my favorite, actually. I love an industrial synth.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a piece of hardware from Aphex, which is the company they based their band name on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's where they got the idea.
About that. Yeah.
That's where the Aphex Twins got the idea of the Aphex, is using an Aphex compeller, which I picked up. I even did a video about it way back, maybe a year ago. Just talking about it. I've had it sitting in the rack. I got it for a pittance. Like, I want to use this thing because it's really cool. They're still in use today. It's a hyper transparent leveling compressor, limiter, maximizer, and it's an analog computer, which is why I'm fascinated about it. I'm like, how do you work? And we're using it right now. I got it tied into the live stream chain. And this ultimately, it's not just curiosity. A lot of it was curiosity and like, how do I make this work? This should be printing, if everything goes swimmingly on this episode, all the audio for this episode will be 100% ready to go.
Woohoo.
As soon as I import it, it is there. I will not have to do any adjustments whatsoever to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Which
makes it so much faster for production.
Yeah. I mean, usually the audio is like 98, 99% in there. I might have to tweak a couple of things with normalization, which don't use normalization, kids. That's not what I'm trying to say, because I know it's like, yes, I just flatten everything. Like, oh, that drives me up the wall when I listen to a podcast. I'm like, I know how to level everything out. We just use a compressor and put a limiter on it and smash everything down. Don't do that, kids. Yeah, I'm playing around with it. That's working. Hopefully it won't die. And what else? Okay, we did the Spotify video. NetJack video. My Duke Nukem Forever videos is in 100% IKEA mode. I have all the parts. I've recorded all the things. I had to go back and re-record the things that I forgot to record. I did that last night when we were playing Trackmania. I was like, I'm in here. Let's just go ahead and do it. And, fate even tried to get my way, Jill. It did.
Oh, boy.
Because it's like, wait a minute. You're trying to do... How about a helicopter flying over the house? I'm like, really?
Oh, joy.
Really?
Yeah, a real loud one probably too. Low to the ground, so you really hear it.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like, I was trying to fade out. It's like, I got up, took a break, but I left everything on. Then I snuck back in and dropped my lines real quick. You had a birthday, and I saw some pictures that they didn't look like a health conscious birthday to me.
Oh, yeah. I had a wonderful ice cream with cake on the bottom of it, a special happy birthday cake ice cream from Disneyland, and that was awesome. So yeah, I had a great time at Disneyland with my Steve husband, where I got to see the Main Street Electrical Parade. It's 50 years old now, and I'm actually older than it is. But I remembered as a baby seeing that parade, so it was so nice seeing it again.
Stuff like that hits differently, doesn't it?
Yeah, I realized I'm older than that parade.
And so, I had that. It was like they announced the new doctor, and I'm like, well, it finally happened. There's a doctor that's younger than me. It's going to happen to us all at some point.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
in their 20s, in his 20s.
I was down with Capaldi. I'm like, Capaldi's old. But no, that was neat. I saw the pictures that you dropped in Discord. What does Steve do? Because I saw Steve he's like, I don't fit in this ride. I can't do anything.
Fit in this ride?
Yeah, there was some ride you were on that he couldn't get in.
Oh, yeah. The Matterhorn.
I don't know what a Matterhorn is. Steve drops these terms like you do sometimes, no one knows what you're talking about. Okay,
yeah. It's a roller coaster built into a scale model of the Matterhorn in Switzerland. It's amazing. Walt built it in the 50s.
Okay.
For Disneyland. It's unique just to Disneyland. It's an amazing, immersive, atmospheric ride. But it's a little rough because it's 1950s roller coaster technology. And they recently updated the seats in the cars, and they're very uncomfortable for people who are tall. So I don't have a problem with it, but the seats are still a little rough, but to me they're more comfortable than they were previously.
Okay.
But for Steven, it just fit him the wrong way. He had a hard time getting out of the bobsled.
So did Steve get in it once and take a ride? And he was like, nope, not again.
Yeah, never again. He was in pain. He was actually in pain in that ride because it fit him incorrectly in his hips and everything in his legs.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the only ride at Disneyland he won't go on anymore.
I was curious about that because Steve posted, he was like, I can't get in the Matterhorn. Yeah. And I'm like, I was curious, but I knew instead of looking it up, I could ask Jill.
Yeah.
And Jill would tell me, this is what a Matterhorn is. Pretty decent. All right. You got a chance to play with Fedora 36.
Oh, I sure did. And it's running actually very super smooth for me on one of my Ryzen computers with an NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti. Yes, I said it. NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti. So after 6 months of development, Red Hat's enterprise desktop distribution, the wonderful Fedora Linux 36 is out, and it includes the updated GNOME 42 with full support for GTK4 apps and all the latest hardware support with Linux kernel 5.17. And yes, wait for it, Wayland for NVIDIA users, finally. So yeah, Fedora Linux 36 includes the enablement of Wayland sessions by default in GDM or the GNOME Display Manager for users with the NVIDIA proprietary driver. This is wonderful. I've even started playing some games with NVIDIA under Wayland in Fedora 36. It's been a pretty surreal experience, actually. So this is an amazing release. There's some great updates to Podman as well. And it's a huge release and very stable, working very stable.
All right.
So, yeah.
I'm kind of interested in it. One good thing that I saw that I'm happy to see is they're shipping 5.17, which very is good, nice. Especially if you are doing any type of audio work with USB audio interfaces. There is a massive latency reduction in 4.16 and later, even without the real-time patch. A lot of that stuff just worked into the regular branch of the kernel. Good to see that. XFC 4.16 and a bunch of inferior desktops.
Yeah.
On top of everything.
So all the spins also have been updated, and their desktop managers, like the KDE Plasma version, has been updated to Plasma 5.24 LTS, XFCE 4.16.
The only desktop. That's the right desktop.
XFCD is CE Spin, LXQT 1.0. That is actually a brilliant release of LXQT. The Cinnamon Spin, it has version 5.2 of Cinnamon, and the Fedora Mate Spin is 1.0 8.26.
That's
So
close enough
pretty
to
impressive.
XFCE. I'll let it pass on me.
Yeah, I love Mate. It's a great desktop.
And by that, I will go ahead and say, like, GNOME 2 did a really good job of getting very XFCE. And a lot of people seem to really
Yeah.
like GNOME 2 enough to where Mate exists now. It's like, remember when
Yes.
everything worked?
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's good to see. Get out there and try it. I am in no way is Wayland into my future, but
Yeah.
if it is an option, try it out. I want to see what, because I know Jordan will eventually get into it.
Yes,
at some
he
point.
will. Yeah.
And hopefully it's going to be a nice, smooth experience. I know there's still some hiccups with Pipewire, and there's still some hiccups with Wayland, especially on NVIDIA. Team Green.
Mm-hmm.
But here's something I want to find out. Maybe at home you could write in and let me know. Is there a decent, like, quick, straightforward way to nope the Wayland?
Oh yeah, all you got to do is log out, and you can go back to the Xorg server. You just
So
got to.
it ships
Yeah.
with the X in place and you're ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll allow it. Here's something I'd really like to allow, Jill. I want to live this dream from the Thunderbird Twitter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Artheron, for finding this for us. The developers of one of the best, actually, open source email clients in the world to me is Thunderbird. Thunderbird. And
Thunderbird. Say it right.
Thunderbird, because you wrote Thunderbird.
That's because that's its Christian name, Jill. Thunderbird.
Yes. Like Foxfire. Thunderbird. So Thunderbird has announced that an Android version of Thunderbird is coming, and we're supposed to be hearing more details in a few weeks. This was very exciting. I'm really excited because, I've actually been established on Gmail and K9 Mail for Android. But this announcement really makes me think about changing, especially since I use Thunderbird on desktop daily, especially here for LGC, for my LGC mail and my Gmail. So that's a thing. And this is going to be really great. Me and Ven were talking about this earlier. We've been wanting this for a long time. We've wanted a Thunderbird mobile client.
We've wanted it. We've been waiting for it. I think probably for the last decade. I'm not alone. Jill's not alone. I'm like,
yeah.
Where's the mobile app? We've had Firefox for a long time on Android.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a mixed bag because,
yes.
With an email client, I want something that's clean, fast, slick, a decent alternative to Gmail. Gmail's kind of heavy. Gmail's kind of chunky. It is.
It is, yeah.
However, Firefox on Android's kind of heavy and it's kind of chunky. And which is unfortunate because I would much rather use Firefox on Android than yet another Chrome, Google-ified, information silo, but it's just not a good experience on my Galaxy S6. And
yeah,
gotta say, if it's not running decent on an S6, that's pretty decent tablet, an octa-core with 4 gigs of RAM. But I remain optimistic. Jill, I remain optimistic because I want it to come out. I want to have my mind blown. But here's the problem. Something I experienced because I no longer use Thunderbird on the desktop. I moved to Evolution.
That's right.
I did.
Yeah.
I had my reasons. They were legitimate. They weren't, like, I'm angry at anything. It was just production flow thing. That was a pain moving all my stuff from one to the other. And I'm moving from Gmail to something like, hopefully there's a really, because I have, our own IMAP set up for Linux Uncast and my other Google accounts and places like that. I hope if there's a nice, slick, like, import for that, then we're down. Then I'm happy.
That's what we need.
Yeah. Then I'm going to try it. If I got to do it one at a time, I don't know if I'd ever try it. I'm just being honest. I don't see a lot of people, like, maybe if you have one email account, but if you get 12, that's a lot of...
A little harder.
I
know in the last version of Thunderbird, they actually did streamline the importing of email clients and made it a little simpler process. So maybe that'll be true for the mobile client as well. I'm pretty sure that they intend to do that, to have it easy and clean. But with that many accounts, I'm still not sure, Vin.
I'm excited. I'm hopeful. That's where I'm at. promise you I will try it and report back. And yeah, I want to see how it works on a tablet screen because I live that tablet life. Anything like smaller than 10 inches is comical in my hands. So it just is, man.
Yes.
I mean, it's adorable watching me train to use like a 6-inch phone. It's
that's
finger.
I can
So yeah, there is that. Now, that's good news. That is exciting. This is bad news. This is depressing, but it's still news. Keeping on that NVIDIA train. Oh, noes. Not anyway. NVIDIA GeForce, all the 30 series LHR graphics cards have been unlocked. NiceHash has confirmed 100% crypto mining rate in the latest Quick Miner update. And that sucks.
Dun.
That sucks. That does nothing but suck. It sucks in reverse. We had a good run. I'll say kind of, a lot of people are speculating that this came from the NVIDIA leak. What was it, like last month before?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could have been conflicting reports. I read a couple of sites saying that this LHR is still enabled like on the 3080 Ti or something like that. But I think it's just fair to assume that the end is nigh. However, if you're unaware, maybe you don't know, NVIDIA did release a limited hash rate. So NVIDIA released 12, possibly 13 LHR cards to combat crypto. I say that jokingly because I've never seen one in stock and I've never seen one on a shelf, but I do know they in fact exist. But nobody told miners and scalpers because they just bought them anyway. It's like, we'll just take them. It'll work out. And it was a token effort to begin with. Me, Jill, you, we're no longer NVIDIA's customers. Haven't been for a long time. We're just like, if you get some, you get some, whatever. I had to wait 10 months to get a 3060. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think
I'm waiting on 3070s to come down to MSRP. I'm waiting patiently.
Yeah. I ended up paying I figure like, even if you factor in like a very, very easy rate of inflation, I paid out $30 more than the original MSRP for my 3060. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at. That's what I said. I said, if I can ever get that close, I'll just instantly buy one. There it was, and I bought one. But I don't think you really need to be terribly concerned with this because
of the price of the cards. Yeah.
The people who are buying these, they're going to buy the palette of whatever comes on. They've been buying LHR regular. They're not the ones I was talking to a couple of people about this. They show up at a place like a Costco or Sam's Club or what you might have locally, a Tesco superstore. They go talk to managers and they say, hey, you know what? This next shipment comes in, I'll just slide you like $2,000 if you let me buy all of that at retail.
Yeah.
That's what you're up against.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, I mean, yeah, this sucks, but I don't think it's going to affect anything. I mean, prices are probably still going to equalize to some extent because they have to. All the people that were going to FOMO buy, like, oh, I need the latest and greatest. And it's kind of weird. You're sitting here waiting and NVIDIA is getting ready to announce the 40 series when the large sector of their air quote customer base, we can't get a hold of the 30 series.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
Intel is allegedly releasing a GPU. Intel, come on. Intel had an update yesterday, Jill, about their discrete GPUs, and they say it will be available after summer. Mm-hmm. What's that mean?
Yeah, I know. What summer next year, maybe.
Intel, quit being Intel just for like 10 minutes. Put a date on it.
I know.
I mean,
I read about how the Intel Arc, the first gen ones, are going to be kind of slow compared to the AMD and GTX cards. So that was a little disappointing, but
I didn't expect them to be fire breathers, but I mean, we're probably going to see they're targeting towards low end, like 3070 type performance, maybe on their high end. But
yeah, true.
Even yesterday, AMD announced a refresh of the
the 6000 series.
Yeah, like the 6500 XT YOLO Swag Edition or whatever.
Yeah.
Same hardware, just clocked higher and a bit more expensive. So
yeah, I noticed that because I'm looking into getting a 6800, 6900
Mm-hmm.
But those cards, it's just, to me, it didn't seem worth it. If you have a 6,000 to go to the 6050 was
right.
not that, big a difference.
And if you were doing any type of streaming, here's the thing.
6550, that was it.
6550?
Yeah.
But if you are doing any type of streaming, wait, because NVIDIA shouldn't be your next purchase. It is going to be AMD, because AMD confirmed, we did that on Linux Gamecast Weekly, go watch Saturday show, is going to have AV1 encoding along with Intel.
Woohoo!
That's the new hotness for streaming. That will be the new hotness for streaming. Listen to Old Man Vin just one time. Just once.
Just once. Aw.
All right. Deb.
Yeah, so this is something really cool.
Don't you mean apt-get?
No, DebGet.
Oh.
So the wonderful and amazing Martin Wimpress, who's been known to play Trackmania with us. He's the former Ubuntu desktop lead and lead of Ubuntu Mate, has created an awesome new tool. It's called DebGet, which is apt-get for third-party Ubuntu software. It lets you install .deb installers from third-party repos and PPAs, as well as websites from GitHub and many more, and all from the command line. It works so good, too. And it, has the ease of use of our beloved apt-get command line package manager. And like regular apt, DebGet is able to handle installing any dependencies required by the software to run, as long as those dependencies are, of course, in the Ubuntu repos. But it also can handle updates, upgrades, removals, cleaning, searching, and even purges. Yes, purges. I wasn't expecting that one. And once you install it, it is easy as run DebGet list to see the software available to install using it, then install software by running sudo debget and the name of the application. And there is, there's Discord on there, there's Element, even Lutris is on there from our very own Matthew Commandon from Strider here in chat. There's Docker in there, Visual Studio Code, Dropbox, lots of great tools that are normally installed from third-party repos, like Google Chrome. That's
Heroic
nice
Games
one.
Launcher is on there.
Yeah, it is.
Mailspring. Ooh, Microsoft Edge. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't know. Opera, Plex, PowerShell, Raspberry Pi Imager. Okay, Skeep.
Quick Cameo. Yeah. SyncThing.
Lutris, Google Earth Pro. I didn't even know. I guess that's the thing. Glitter.
Yeah, I haven't played around with Google Earth in a while, but
man, we were simple creatures back in the day. Look, it's a 3D globe we can spin around. Oh my, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
This is kind of neat. If you are on the Ubuntu's and you want to try this, a little saddened that you can't do apt get me a sandwich.
Yes.
It's quite unfortunate. Maybe you can though. Maybe that's a little something you can sneak in.
You gotta tell Wimpy about that. It's gonna be a new meme. Deb, get me a sandwich.
And it better not do anything until I say sudo.
Yeah. Yes.
Having some extra repositories and things like that. I mean, I get it. Because repositories exist. They're not going to go away despite, everyone wants like this. I shouldn't say everyone. Every distribution wants their own version of this mythical centralized repo, like Microsoft Windows Store. It's not going to happen. I was always, one thing I will always say about Ubuntu is the PPA system. Not perfect, but man, it worked.
Yes, absolutely. And this is, you can DebGet it now.
I would,
makes PPAs even easier to use.
Well, PPAs were absolutely an imperfect solution, especially anybody who had a bunch of PPAs and were, upgrading.
Yeah, when you upgrade, you got to go through.
Which ones do I take out?
Like the NVIDIA drivers.
Things like that. So, there's always a better solution. Go try this. It's priced to sell, absolutely free, open source, and good work, Wimpy.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yay, Wimpy, we love you.
Now, something I never thought I'd see. Never thought in a million years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even 999,000 years. No. KDE. Love some KDE.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot more people like KDE Connect. Because you start talking about KDE and
yes.
even people on GNOME, even people on XFCE.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I use KDE Connect. That is one thing that I absolutely use. And there's been, multiple Android apps, desktop apps, and stuff like that. This is the unusual thing. This is KDE Connect on the iStore for your iDevice, officially from KDE.
Wow.
There it is. And kind of shocking. I never thought I'd see that. And this isn't from Gary's wacky KDE shock. No, this is straight from KDE itself. And it is there. It does require iOS 14 or later, but it's not too bad. Doesn't collect any data. End-to-end TLS encryption. Okay. I'm down for this. I don't use KDE Connect though, Jill. So also I don't have an iDevice.
Yeah. Me neither. I use GS Connect for Android, which is just like a KDE Connect. But it'll work on, all the things as well, all the different desktop managers, like KDE Connect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's KDE Connect. If you want to copy clipboards and stuff around, send photos, files, slideshows, you can run commands, do remote input. I mean, a bunch of cool stuff. Get all those
notifications.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so down for that. And yeah, if you have your walled garden iDevice, and there it is. You don't have to do anything funky. It's just right there in the App Store, which I think is awesome. Just make sure you keep that updated every 2 years or they'll delist it because Apple cares about.
Ah, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Good advice, Ben.
That's just a weird thing. I understand why they're doing it. It's not as malicious as people want it to believe, or want to believe. It's just to get out, make sure all the software is updated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get it. People aren't happy with it. And I understand the logic behind that too. It's one of those things I can see both sides. I know that's a strange thing in modern times, but it is possible if you put your mind to it. Everyone, something I'd love you to put your mind to. And I'm very thankful, along with Jill, for everyone who has and currently puts their mind to our Patreon over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. That's how we finance all the little things we do on this network. Try to do some educational material, try to do some comedy, try to make people laugh on Saturday nights, at least confuse them. And,
yes.
We get general stuff that we do here. And I have a bunch of series that I do on YouTube, trying to bring Linux to people who kind of know how to Linux, but they want to do something a little cooler than just your basic stuff. And that's why my interest has always fallen. And we do live streams Tuesdays and Fridays. Me and Jill are racing against each other with all of our Twitch subs, all of our patrons that want to hop in. Yeah, everyone's finally clicked in. They're like, this is a physics puzzle with wheels, and there's 14 new physics puzzles each and every week. And we try to slide our way through it. We play, just kind of do a warm-up on Tuesday, find the maps, find the bugs, and on Friday we go to town for chances to win documentaries and free games. And Jordan streams on Thursdays. It's Jordan's jamborees, whatever he comes up with, because that's one thing. We might be doing this for 10 years, but there's no hierarchy. There's no paperwork. Jordan doesn't have to submit approval. I'm planning on streaming this, and I have no idea. Whatever, go for it. Joe wants to do something, fine, rock on, because that's how I like to do things. And hopefully you enjoy that. But if you do, spare us $4 a week. Get access to our Discord.
Yeah.
You get the full length of this show. You're only getting the middle part. No matter where you're listening to it, there's a beginning and an end. It's usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that is produced in audio and video and a custom RSS feed that you get by becoming a patron. Twitch subs, thanks each and every one of you. That also gets you access to our Discord. But Joe, we got a new patron.
Yeah, we do. And his name is Tom. Thank you, Tom, so much. I hope to see you in chat if you haven't. You may have already been in there. I think it might be one of our new people I noticed in chat.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we had a
but
couple
we're not
new
sure.
people. That's always past couple of weeks, people coming in.
Yeah.
Again, I can't get over the wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty dope, isn't it? Yeah, it is. We have a very, very eclectic, cool, down to earth, completely insane Discord chat.
Yes.
But we also have IRC.
Yes, we do.
Since day one. That is there. And if you're watching live, our IRC is tied into our Discord and our Twitch chat in the live channel. So you can type from any of those places and you'll show up right here on screen. There we go. Commercials. We got Amazon wish list. If you want to like buy us toys and trinkets, I'm sure Jill has something that is blinky and or covered in fuzz.
Yes. Like what's behind me. Yes, lots of penguins.
I got a bunch of boring stuff for the studio, but that'll get you up on the wall if that's your jam. I don't know. That's a threat. That's why I put that in. I don't want anybody like, no. It's like, well, you got to give me something else. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Yes. And Jordan has exercise equipment on his.
Right.
And Pedro has a lot of check on his. Yeah.
Pedro just wants to thieve. That's all he does in the evenings. He just breaks into places. Probably his own.
Yeah.
And we got a merch store and all that fun stuff. Cool. Have we done the shilling and the plugging sufficiently?
Yes, we have.
All right. I don't know.
Now we're ready for pies.
Making sure I feel sufficiently dirty. I'm like, what have I done? Maybe not. Let's talk about some LED pies.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Christmas bulb pies. But I don't think those are LEDs. Those look like gummies.
They're on a pie. I mean, if I put real LEDs on the pie, people would get angry at me.
Yeah, but I think they're just like, or they're just like fondant, colored bulbs.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're just bread and somebody paid.
Yeah.
Because
that's a cool looking pie.
Putting actual bulbs in there, that's some Venstone level malicious stuff right there. Right?
Yeah.
Don't. Bad idea.
But it makes sense for our next segment.
It does. We've seen it before and we're going to see it again. I'm talking about a matrix display for your Raspberry Pi. What sets this one apart, Ven? Well, it's a matrix display for your Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, so
Nothing
cool.
more. Nothing more to it. I'm just kidding. Here's some dopeness. Check this out. First off, that looks cool. It's not necessarily the matrix display. It's how it's sitting. It's how it's hanging out. This is a very comprehensive dashboard for a 64 by 32 matrix. Programmed the dashboard, what was it, on Python conjunction with Helzer RGB matrix library. That's pretty decent. But it's the case and the stand on this.
Yeah.
This is what I want to get to. Look at this. Oh, now how much would you pay? Nothing. It's completely open source. You can build it yourself. You can 3D print it. That's right. The code in CAD on the GitHub. I want this. Now he's doing this with a Raspberry Pi B. You could probably get away with a Pico, but you might not be able to run some of the heavier stuff. As long as this thing can display HTOP, yeah.
You're happy.
I'm down because I want something like this. I just want that. Look at this. That is so cool. That's so slick.
Now, Ven, you know what I'm thinking of? I am seriously thinking of doing this project. And one of the reasons is I've always wanted a matrix LED display. I've never had one. And I check the prices and they're between $30 and $50, depending on who you get them from.
Yeah.
But I wanted to use one with a Raspberry Pi as a case mod in my case with a glass panel. So I think that would look cool. And then you could put a video on it or a decoration on it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it
We
looks
could put
cool
like
inside.
Windows 11 is starting.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always wanted one of these.
Where it just stays on that. You're like,
yeah. And that one's sweet looking.
It's slick looking, isn't it? And I was like, that doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't. It's good enough looking to where I'm not a fan of things that don't do anything, but that's slick enough looking. Like that serves no practical purpose, but aesthetics. I'm like, well, my brain put HTOP on it. Yeah, then we can look at it. Yeah, right. And
absolutely, or the weather, or pictures, or whatever you want, videos.
You can flip it. Like even if you had to send the CAD files off to a 3D print shop to get that back, that'd still be worthwhile doing. $30 to $50 for the display. Done. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great weekend project. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Really is.
And low power too.
Yeah, low power. And speaking of 2001, my husband has been bringing that up a lot. That looks like like the obelisk, the monolith from 2001 with the screen on it. That's what it kind of looks like.
That's so old. You're supposed to use the Radio Shack QCats for space. What was it? The Expanse. I was watching The Expanse,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they had a 3D mouse used as like the spaceship main control. I'm like,
Yeah,
come on.
that's right. Yeah.
No, it was a space mouse. I mean, fittingly enough, they were called space mouse, but it's like, I know what that is. You run into that a lot, especially in sci-fi. You know, prop department's got to do what they got to do. Average person's not going to notice stuff like that. And like, I know what that is. But hey, there it is. Oh man, Steve's posting a picture of something in her Discord.
Yeah, it's a neat clock. That's one of those pseudo clocks. It is 15 minutes past. Instead of saying the time directly, it's one of those it's a half hour till 2 p.m. or 15 minutes.
Steve, somebody
till.
from Switzerland's going to come kick you in the shins just for having that. That's an affront to all things timely.
Yes.
Beautiful people, we got to get out of here. Thanks for hanging around. Show was a little long this week. We had a lot to test and a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
we'll see you again next week. You can always leave us an email, drop us a comment on the YouTube video, and it might end up on this show. That's a fair warning. Again, everything's a warning. How about let's roll up some credits and roll out of here.
Awesome. Aw, thank
Allegedly.
you again to all our wonderful patrons. We've got in chat right now, we've got Gamatron, we have my Steve husband, we have Inertia, we have Justin, all these beautiful people who donate to us and support our shows and our pseudo network.
We're going to knock that network out one day.
Yeah. Inertia. Thank you.
Right.
All our beautiful patrons. Jelly Bean, it's my brother.
Speaking of helicopters flying over my house.
Oh boy.
Not even kidding, man.
You're not even kidding. Yeah, sometimes the Coast Guard flies over mine during the show. That's happened before.
If the Coast Guard flies over my house, they're decidedly lost.
Lost. I guess so, yeah.
I live on the coast-ish. I'm coast adjacent. I can drive to the coast in an hour or two, but yeah. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Love you all. We burned in Ven's new equipment.
That equipment's almost old as we are.
Yeah.
Our vintage gear, everyone.
Yes.
It is vintage. It is old enough to have, let's see, realistically, a 20-year-old child. If it was.
Aw. Yeah. So it was 83. From 83, was it, Ven?
This one was from 83 or 86. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch the video.
Ah, okay.
They came out
school.
in I think 1980.
Okay. Cool.
And they're still made today. What?
Oh, follow Stan. Yeah, you were in chat.
Yeah, they're doing proper. What? It's just open source NVIDIA drivers. What are you going to complain about next? You don't like the color green? Okay, let's place our bets, Jill. What do you think the new reason to hate NVIDIA? I may or may not have been playing with these for a little while. Anyway.
Oh.
But what do you think the new reason for hating NVIDIA on Linux is going to be next week? What do you think the best one you're going to find? Who's going to come up with the best reason?
Well, I guess the one floating around right now is NVENC being proprietary.
NVENC's hardware.
Yeah.
They're too expensive? I don't know.
Oh, I see. I'm thinking of something complex. But yeah, they are kind of pricey.
Too much green on the card. Yeah.
Too much green?
Yeah. Still
Gosh,
more close than AMD. All right, that's a contender. I'll give you that one. We'll put that in the guest pool.
That's true.
Not good enough. That's my favorite thing. Especially when a company's like, oh yeah, hey, Linux is pretty cool. We're going to make some software for Linux. We put a lot of research and development. We tried to make the best project we could. Here you go, Linux. And you're like, but it's not open source.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Too much rainbow vomit. Yeah.
Jensen's leather jacket. I don't know
Jensen's leather jacket.
I mean, that might be, we'll put that as a wild card.
I know. Their higher end cards, the 3070s and up, are still not anywhere near MSRP, except occasionally you'll find a sell on one. I'm waiting for the 3070 to come down from $780 to $500 or around 500-ish. So,
they're expensive.
Yeah. They are, but so is my, I want to get the 6800, RX 6800 and 6900, and they're, you know, 1,000 or more.
Yes. They absolutely are. And see, that's like a catch too. Because you'll end up getting like the 3070 and then the 4060 will come out and just like curb check it.
Yeah. Or they'll have a TI version. And, NVIDIA, stop using the word TI. It's TI. I'm sorry. It's
there you
TI.
go. There you go. Jill's got one on the board now.
There we go.
Quit trying to make TI a real thing. Even in your old marketing, they used to call it TI.
Yes,
verbally.
Exactly. And it's not, you know, a TIE fighter by any means. It's TI.
I don't know. I mean, it's just tried to make it the Thai thing. That was the most silly, not the silliest thing I've ever seen, but it was comical. I was laughing during the whole thing, and I'm like, wow, is there going to be like a joke at the end of this? Like, we had you going. I'm like, nope, you're going to try to make that a thing? It's not going to work. Internet's not going to have that. Let marketing, let that one go. The first syllable of Titan. Yeah, and NVIDIA is confusing a lot, man. Like, they want everything called different names every other generation, and you must obey the NVIDIA marketing machine or you do not get review samples.
Yeah. That's an issue.
I've talked to NVIDIA critter, and it's like, nope, I mean, more power to everyone who doesn't have to bow to the NVIDIA overlords to get products, even from their AIBs. They're kind of stingy. But, like, the only thing I'll allow for hardware reviews is you send me thing. Mm-hmm. Period. But nope, that's the end of the contract. You send me thing. I'm not even going to tell you I'm going to review it. I'm not even going to promise you that. I might.
AMD, on the other hand, they're a lot easier to get into contact for review units. That's why you see so many tech tubers reviewing their products.
Well, they got to. They got a fraction of the market share.
Yeah.
NVIDIA doesn't need people to market its stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Billions. They have billions of dollars.
Well, I mean, open source, closed source. I'm a Linux advocate, Linux zealot. I promote open source software, but it's not a deal breaker for me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I use what works because I spent 20 years kicking myself in my own shins. Like, I only want to use floss software. And then I got to the point in life where I needed to get stuff done. And while there are great open source alternatives in like 3D modeling, Blender, that doesn't exist for nonlinear video editors. And anybody who tries to bring up KD and Live, OpenShot, Olive, and all that are not trying to do what I'm doing. That's how I know that you're not on the same level. Once you hit that level, you go, I need to do this, this, and this. And they'll all go, we don't have those features. What are you talking about?
Yep.
So, mix and match, man. I come from the time where we had no commercial software on Linux. Somebody tried to get my grill the other day, Jill, about Steam not being open source. The Steam client not being open source. Oh. They did. Like, why isn't the Steam client open source? And I said this to them. I said, so you can download all of your open source video games? Mm-hmm. They shut up after that, fortunately.
Yeah.
Like, what type of hypocritical... I mean, that's where I just kind of.
Yeah, I know.
I will advocate. I will sponsor.
Yeah.
And listen, if you want to play the game who's donated more money to open source projects, I'll play that game with anybody.
Yeah, including Valve.
3060. Yeah, I have not even tried my 3060 with Blender.
That Gameatron, it should be.
I mean, it's got 12 gigs. I mean, I opened up Resolve and a UHD timeline with a little bit of a noise reduction, really light color grade, and at UHD it was 8.6 gigs of video RAM utilization out of the 12. So yeah, yeah, you can use the RTX stuff. Unlike the Blender is finally like reworking the
they're reworking
OpenCL.
OpenCL.
OpenCL was just a dumpster fire. AMD's not the one to blame for OpenCL being a dumpster fire, but OpenCL is just a dumpster fire. They tried that. They called it Desura. You can use Lutris.
Yeah.
Heroic Game Launcher.
That was cool to see in there on DebGet. So I need to install that, don't I? I haven't looked to check out my games in a while on there.
Yeah. If you're looking to upgrade, I mean, if you have a 2060 Super with 8 gigs, the only reason you'd buy a 3060 non-TI is because you hate money. Like that's not an upgrade. You know, if I wanted like bang for buck right now, is the A4000 Quadro. That is good value for money. It's still expensive. It's $1,000 video card, but
you get a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 gig frame buffer. Plus, you get all the Quadro bits.
Oh, the KO. Yeah, that's nice, Justin.
But it's all about use cases. I was talking on Discord last night. Somebody had asked me, have I considered some of the new AMD parts? You know, because they have 12-core, 16-thread desktop parts now that you can buy. That'll go in the 5 Series chipset. Absolutely, I would. Instead of upgrading to 100%. Do you know how much cheaper that would be?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me? I dream about things like that. Problem is, I only have 64 PCI lanes in my Threadripper, and I mean only. I use every single
you need
one of
more.
them. I need more. Like, I kind of I used Epic motherboards. I'm like, maybe. Because I don't need something that's incredibly, like, clock speed fast. 128 PCIe lanes? I'd love that. But when you're dealing with
consideration, you know, the Epic board.
Yeah, then it's just going to be the monkeying around because all that server stuff, and that's in a past life, Jill. I don't want that in my house.
You don't want to do that again.
I don't need flashbacks. But yeah, once you have a quad 4K capture card, 2 other capture cards for 1080p and 4K 30, then you get a fiber optics card, and you run like Threadripper's full. All the PCI holes are full. I'd love a Threadripper Pro, but those things are in the stratosphere, man.
Yeah, Inertia, finally DDR5 is caught up to the server world.
You know what? I'll take my chances against the cosmic bit flip. You know what? All Threadrippers support ECC, just not officially. But there's not another board. There's not an X399 chipset that doesn't have. I mean, they'll work with ECC. But yeah, I would absolutely love, and plus it would be better performing like in games, like a desktop part. So yeah. I got my 32 gigs of RAM. I could do everything-ish. Now I really can't, but at first, the only reason I have 32 gigs of RAM is because the Threadripper looked funny with only 16 in it, because it's got those memory banks on both sides. I was like, that looks silly. Plus, I had the RAM anyway. I just plugged it in there. Yeah. I'm patient, man. I'm going to wait for that 2970 WX to come down another $200. I think they're going about for like $800 right now. Used $600. We get to like that 400, then we're talking. That'll be a significant bump. Yeah, they make Xeon laptops.
Oh, to get ECC, yeah. Yeah, I actually have the first Xeon laptop that Dell had made many years ago. It's an old laptop now, but it was the first Xeon. It was a big deal.
What was the
got it for my collection.
Oh man, I remember swapping out a bunch of those. What was it? The Pentium? It's not the Pentium Pro. What am I thinking of? It was the card one that was in the 1U racks. Was it Pentium Pro? What am I thinking of? What was the? I think they called it Xeon at that time. Because I remember they were a pain in the ass because you had to have a daughter card with them.
Yeah, the Pentium Pros. They weren't. It wasn't as common to see them in the U racks because they generated so much heat. That was a thing, but they did exist. So the Pentium Pro was the predecessor to the Xeon, but in many ways it was. If Intel had stuck with the Pentium Pro architecture with the Xeon speed, the Xeons would even be faster.
Well, I mean, the slot architecture was a dumb idea. And,
they
had to do it, but I mean, AMD had to do it at the time too. Go look up that engineering reason. It's a fun read.
Yeah.
Was it? It might have been Pro. I don't remember what they were called. Anyway, I was decommissioning them anyway, so it's not like it was mission critical.
Because I do have one Pentium Pro in a URAC case, but they weren't as common because of the heat. They had problems with that.
That's why I had a row of 60 millimeter sun on jet fans.
Oh yeah.
That is like noise. That was like the one thing. This is like a project. See, this is me trying to justify buying that Quadro.
Yeah.
Is how loud they are. Now, I have listened to an A4000 because fortunately, my friend is a higher up at University of Georgia, and he's into the astronomy, physics, whatever, and they got a stack of them. I know how loud they get. Too loud to use at full tilt. But wouldn't it be fun to water cool one?
Yeah, it would be, actually.
Like, maybe we could do a video on that. I don't know. People love watching videos about stuff that they'll never do. Do a custom loop. But you got to one up everything these days. I couldn't just do that. I'd have to do it with parts that I bought off Wish.
Yeah.
For water cooling. Oh man, come on, a magnetic inline pump? Well, I mean, if I was going to do it, I'd go to the marine store and buy it like I used to. I'd get some quality stuff instead of this blinky RGB nonsense, that overpriced blinky RGB nonsense that I wouldn't trust to keep a system cool 24/7. They're not designed to run like that, but you get where I'm going. If you got pump noise, you got a bad pump.
Yeah, those should be very quiet. Hardly hear them.
But we're finally starting to see magnetic bearings and fans. I was happy to see that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I had those in my Deck Alpha. I have them in my Deck Alpha. Ball bearing fans.
Magnetic.
Because they've been around for ages.
Yeah. Putting a first tank non-effective. Yeah. You can do it in mineral oil. If you want to do it on the cheap. I know we looked into university buying. What is it called? It's not fluorine. Does start with an F though, isn't it? It's wicked expensive.
Okay. What was it, Vin?
Non-conductive coolant.
Oh, okay.
Immersion. 3M. We're doing the Google search.
Yeah. Yeah, inertia, that might be a thing, huh?
Fluinert.
Ah.
They have like a whole, you never get to play with this stuff. I used to be able to steal this stuff from data centers because you get a lot of bought secondhand. But if you try to buy this stuff, do they even have pricing on this? Probably not. Here, you can look along with me. Can we just buy it? 3M fluids.
Ooh.
There's Novec. Yeah.
Yeah, Florinert.
Okay. How much do you think? How much is that?
Oh. $200?
I can't tell how big that's supposed to be. If that
yeah, I can't either, but
I would say a couple of grand.
Oh, wow.
Depending on the size. Let's see if we can data mine this. See that's some recycled. Don't buy this stuff, kids. That's been drained out of a system.
Wow.
Here's some reclaimed FC40. $1,700 for how much? Let's go find out.
Yeah, I forget that stuff has really skyrocketed.
It's always been.
It always has been.
Wicked expensive. How much for? Anyway, moral of the story: if you're doing it at home, just use mineral oil. Yeah. Steel drum of coolant. I mean, listen, if you're going to have a 50-gallon drum, it's either going to be lube or coolant. I mean.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that picture was a little tiny bottle, but I guess it wasn't. It was probably a thing.
That was probably, I don't know what, we'd get it. They were, 11 pound.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I don't know what that would be in gallons because I don't know what the weight is of this stuff. Third M's for money.
Yeah, I know. My brother used to have some. Or when he went on jobs, he needed it. Oof. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about mineral oil, you could just dunk all the electronics in and it'll do it. Or you could do like, I was talking to Jill about that. I used to have a evaporative cooling.
Yeah.
Waterfall cooler, which is neat for about 30 minutes. Then you get tired of listening to the waterfall.
Yeah. Yes.
And once your brain finally gets where you can zone out the constant like trickle of the stream, which, you're like, yeah, that's going to sound great. And it's like, that is really annoying. Then the extra humidity in the room, and you got to keep it topped off because of evaporation with an open loop system. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're going to be able to detonate kerosene with 5 volts and 12 volts. Probably not. I mean, kerosene like diesel is pretty stable. You got to put some heat on it to get it to light up. I mean, not according to movies, but it might have been a trailer for something. Why, Jill, you'll know more. Why are all the cars in Los Angeles and Hollywood made out of explosives?
Yeah.
Because the second something
we love our cars
barely bumps into it in a movie trailer or a TV, it just
Yeah, just
blows up.
explodes or implodes. Oh my God.
Speaking of Hollywood, that's where this thing was made. The Afex out the back, made in Hollywood, California. Made, not sold.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's where their factory was.
I've seen the factory before. Yeah. Yeah, I've driven past it before. That's funny because I'm glad you brought that up because it's been a long time since I heard about that. I have friends who were friends of Mr. Afex Twin, and that was years ago. He let that leak. I remember reading about it about Afex, the company. You know, where his name came from.
Naming what he named it from a long time ago.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite videos from him is the dancing teddy bears, the mean ones. One of my favorite videos.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we got to bounce. Does anybody got any last minute suggestions? I guess I know what we're going to be talking about Saturday.
Yeah.
Still not getting rid of the poster. Nope.
That
is Linus reminding everyone NVIDIA is in fact number one.
By inertia. Oh yeah, Rel 9.
Rel 9. What's that?
It's coming.
That's like Linux for old people?
No.
Back in my day. I'm kidding. Mostly.
Yeah, they're having the Red Hat Summit is right now. I think isn't it inertia? I have some other Red Hat friends that I think are there right now.
I don't know. Enterprising.
Yeah,
Oh, it is
yeah.
right on.
I thought so.
Good deal. Cool. Well, everyone, I got to go take a look at audio files and see how Mr. Compeller Pants did.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully it'll be nice. And, yeah, show will be up a little later. Full show will be up for patrons. And eventually, at some point, I'll convince Spotify to transcode the video.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, last week.
How long did it take?
Well, it lied to you the first time. See, I was kind of... The first time I'd done it was when Jordan filled in. And it worked fine, but then I did it that Saturday. And, you know, you get everything uploaded. And it sends an email. It's like, hey, it's being transcoded. I have no idea how long it's going to take because I'm giving them the same thing I was giving YouTube, which is the mezzanine file. You know, it's 32-bit float audio. It's H.265 loss, you know, about 10 gigs for an hour. And I upload it. I'm like, hopefully they're expecting quality stuff and not like some busted down handbrake version. And I never got an email saying that it was done. So then, then I go find the previous email and I look through it. Like, how long did that take? Oh, about 45 minutes. Maybe click, click, click. Wait. Zone out. I'm like, maybe I'm going to go take a nap. Well, go to bed. Same thing for me. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to upload it again. See what happens. So I get up and come back in here, get everything on. Upload it again. Wait. Like maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Really. I'm like, boop. Okay. Second time. And it did the same thing on Sunday when I uploaded Saturday's show. Put it up. It said it was transcoding. Never got the second email. Went back in. I waited maybe an hour and a half. Deleted that. Re-uploaded it. Went right through.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. We just got to rock and roll like that. Cool.
Very cool.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye, everyone. And
Bye-bye.
you, Inertia, for posting about the Fedora Linux. Yeah, I saw the announcement on that. That looks like fun.
Right on.
Yay. Bye, everyone. Love you all.